Hey guys, Sharpend here. In this video we're going to recreate the Sine lead from Dream 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 by Madeon. It sounds something like this. So in this video we're going to recreate the sound using Serum. So the first thing you want to do is to go to oscillator A and B and click on analog and basic shapes so that you get two sine waves. And then you want to go into oscillator A on the edit button here to create a new wavetable, which is a sine wave that has some additional harmonics by filling in bin 3, bin 5 and bin 7. That way you get a sine that sounds like this. So you have the sine wave and some additional harmonics here. Then you want to load up the second sine wave and make sure that it's an octave below your first sine wave. And you want to blend it at around like 35% wet volume. And then you want to add some white noise. So altogether you get this sound. And in case of this video, I just took the original track and I just high-passed it so I can get just the noise. And then I loaded it into Serum to get closer to the original as possible. And then you want to go to LFO1, set it to envelope mode and remove the BPM setting so that you can set it in Hertz. And you want to set it to a really fast rate, like 44 Hertz. And you want to set it into the coarse pitch of oscillator A. And that means that it's going to just modulate the pitch really fast. So I'm setting it to go only in one direction using this arrow button here. And on 23 in the amount, and basically it just goes up in pitch and then down really fast, creating a click. And this click creates a nice attack for our sine lead. And then in addition to that, there are two other LFOs. There's LFO 2, which is also not in BPM, it's in Hertz. And this one just goes to global master tuning. And it is in both directions and it modulates it by just one. So this creates a subtle vibrato effect, and it's very subtle because if you were, for example, would set the output to 100, it would be way too extreme. So that's why we're using only one on the amount and around like 10 on the output. And then there's LFO3, which is very similar. And it just goes to global and amp to create a very subtle tremolo. Then we have a few effects. We have chorus, and the rate is not too fast, and the depth is also not too intense. So you get a very subtle stereo effect. And then we have some reverb. The decay is at around 6 seconds. We have some low cut so that it doesn't get too muddy, and that's pretty much it. The mix is set pretty low because we have a lot of noise, so that is going to already trigger the reverb quite a bit anyway. And then we have the delay. So the delay here plays a very big part because it sort of repeats the notes that Madeon is playing and it makes it sound a lot more interesting. So we have it set on a quarter of a note and a bar on the left and right. So that way you get really fast repeats and then really slow repeats as well. And I've set it to be sort of like a bandpass that is removing a lot of the high frequencies created by the noise so that you get a more subtle and ambient delay. The feedback is at 50% and the mix is close to 50%, so that means that it plays a very important part in our sound. And then one more thing that is very important is the pitch bend. So I have here all of the pitch bend automation that I'm using. And if I were to remove it, it would sound a lot less interesting. So this adds another way to make it sound even more interesting than before. And also I suggest that if you can, just play your leads on a MIDI keyboard and do the pitch bending yourself, because that will make it sound even more human and realistic. And then there's a very subtle layer in the original of some piano that is playing the same notes as the lead as well. So I've just loaded up a Contact piano to play the notes as well, and you want to blend it in just a tiny bit so that you can barely hear it, and then altogether you should get this sound. And while this gets very close to the original, I think that Madeon used some sort of analog synth to create this, or something like that, because it sounds a lot less cold, like the tone of Serum. So if you have analog synths, or if you want to experiment by, for example, sending Serum into an amp, a guitar amp that you have, it might create interesting results that will sound even better and closer to the original. And that is pretty much it. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments below what subject do you want me to cover up next time.